Hello everybody and welcome to Front Row Racing on this rather hot Wednesday evening as we get ready for the Front Row Racing World Championship round 19 from Mexico. And your commentary team for today's race is Front Row Racing GP and Millstar 12.
Thank you very much, DP. Yeah, I am Front Racing GP, also known as the Murray Talker, and alongside me we do have Millstar, whose new commentary name is Damon Millstar. So, so then, Damon, we've got some interesting news and a bit of a statement that needs to be read out. Before we do that, though, Mexico, a hot one. Do you think it's going to be dry, or do you think we may get a bit of rain?
Well, I definitely think it's going to stay dry. Mexico's quite a hot country, so you probably assume that it's probably going to stay dry.
Yeah, but if it does get wet, it's one of those circuits that can dry up extremely quickly as well. I'm just going to bring DP back in on this because I believe you've got a statement from one of the drivers.
I do, yes. Before we send the drivers over to the track, as Steve's mentioned, we do have a bit of a statement to put out from one of the drivers, and that driver is Stocky. I've had a bit of a chat with Stocky today, and Steve's been talking to him. And the question that Steve put to Stocky was, "Hi mate, normally at this time I would ask you for your pre-race comments. So I thought I would ask you if you have anything you would like us to say on your behalf during this evening's race. Because Stocky, there's a reserve driver in place of Stocky tonight." And Stocky's responded with the following. He said, "I would like to start off by an explanation. Some people may have their own theories as to why I have decided to vacate my seat in Front Row Racing, and I welcome open speculation, but the truth behind the matter is that I have several exams coming up that can determine the rest of my education, and these things have to come first in my life at the moment. I would like to say a personal thank you to Dave and Steve for allowing me to drive in Front Row Racing for the last 2 seasons, and for all their work that they have put in their time as admins, and I'm sure they will leave us in good hands. I would also like to congratulate Mads, that's Mr. Hamilton 44. He said he's an outstanding competitor and a worthy FRR champion. It's been a great season, but also a great 2 years. I've met some great people and shared a lot of memories. Once again, thank you all at the FRR family for the work that they do." That statement from Stocky there, freeing up his seat in the Mercedes team, does mean that we declare Mr. Hamilton 44 as the Front Row Racing World Championship champion.
Ooh,
I think everyone would agree.
Hey.
I think everyone would agree that it's not the way that a championship would like to be decided from a spectator point of view, from an admin's point of view, from a driver's point of view. But unfortunately, life does get in the way sometimes, and as our co-commentator Millstar knows, when exams come along, it takes priority. So Mr. Hamilton 44 is the Front Row Racing World Champion from Season 7, and we did have a little bit of a chat with Mr. Hamilton earlier on with his pre-race comments as well, and I'll quickly mention that. As Steve says to him, "Have you heard the breaking news that Stocky has had to give up his seat for the remainder of the season? What are your thoughts on this, champ?" Mr. Hamilton 44 said, "Hi, I've not heard this news until now, but I think it is a shame as he is a quick driver. Being 30 points ahead, I think it was just a matter of time before securing the title, and to win the title in my rookie season is something I am proud of." And we're all proud of him as well. It does mean as well that if Mr. Hamilton 44 for whatever reason doesn't get on the podium tonight, we will still invite him in for the podium chat at the end of the day. But guys, your thoughts on that? Mr. Hamilton 44 is going to be crowned the Front Row Racing World Champion because of the points gap he's got on the driver in 3rd place. So your thoughts on that, if you will, while I just make sure we've got all the drivers in.
Yeah, Millstar. If you were Mr. Hamilton, how would you take that news?
I mean, to be honest, I think he probably expected to win the championship. Anyway, maybe it's not as good now because Stocky had to pull out. He's been a deserved champion. There's been definite progression from the FRI days last season, I think it was, to now. Yeah, he's definitely deserved to win it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take anything away from Mr. Hamilton. I mean, you can't say, oh, he's only won it because Stocky's vacated his seat. Now, I'm not saying that it was nailed on he was going to have it, but he obviously had the upper hand and is a deserving champion. Anyone that gets a championship at the end of the day is deserving of it. They're the guy that's got the most points at the end of the season. It is nice when you see it sort of dealt with on track rather than off track, but it's what it is, and we'll congratulate him on the podium later on. But what I want to do is, if anyone actually has got any thoughts on Mr. Hamilton and Stocky and the way the championship's been decided, post it in the comments. We'll have a little read through them. And if you want to ask the champion, Mr. Hamilton, anything at the end of the race, put it down in the comments as well, at Mr. Hamilton or at Mr. and we'll ask him some questions. But yeah, let's go over, or not over, sorry, let's go back to the last round and make sure that we're understanding what happened in the USA. So in the USA, let's have a look for the race results. So previous race results, it was Mr. Hamilton that took the victory there, with Overdijking in second place. And Coming to Get You 85 took the last podium place in third. Tempfear went from 5th place up to 4th. Jamie James dropped 3 places down to 5th. Mornay stayed in 6th place throughout the race. Then we've got Bleeding Sunrise 7th, Aircut 8th, and GT5 King in 9th, Simo in 10th, Stocky in 11th, Erna Urchin in 12th, F1 Roadrunner in 13th, Hammer Time 95 14th, Certec Karatepe 15th, Breaking Clays 16th, and Duofin in 17th. Then we've got the admin's pick rookie that was disqualified, unfortunately. So actually it says here, so was Duofin, and Bartman did not start. We have some news on Bartman shortly as well. The constructors standings, how are they at the moment? Actually, no, not constructors, sorry, it's Millstar next with the drivers standings. That's right, yep, get my head screwed on.
Yep, so the Drivers' Championship, round 18. Mr. Hamilton, now world champion, has 279 points. Stocky, before he left, had 249. Third was Overdijking with 148. Fourth was Tempfear with joint fourth was Simo 911 and Tempfear with 124. Sixth was Coming to Get 85 of 120. Seventh is Mornay in the Williams with 74. Eighth is Jamie James with 71. Ninth is F1 Roadrunner with 60. Oh, I'm getting a bit confused here. It's quite hard to read. Ninth is F1 Roadrunner with 64 points. 10th is Bleeding Sunrise with 50. 11th is Hammer Time with 48 points. 12th is FR Admin's Pick Rookie with 39 points. 13th is Bartman with 35 points. 14th is GT5 King with 34 points. 15th is Breaking Clays with 8 points. 16th is Certec Karatepe with 4 points. 7th, joint 16th with him also on 4 points is Acart TR. And 18th is Onorachum on 3 points. And finally, Duofin on 1 point.
Okay, DP, do you have the constructors? In fact, actually, before we do the constructors, DP, because time's ticking on, I'm going to go quickly through the drivers. No, go on.
Okay,
what do you say?
Just hang on a second though. Do you want to just wait a moment before we send the drivers over to the racetrack? I've just had to switch A-cut from the wrong car to the right.
That's fine.
And Duofin had just had a problem, so we'll just hang on a few moments before we send the drivers to the track.
Well, what I was going to do is I've not gone through the drivers and the teams yet, so I'm going to go through those, and then as we're going over to the circuit, we can get the constructors settings done. So the teams and the drivers that we've got with us, because there are a few reserve drivers in place today, so we will go through those. So on the screen we can see we've got Tempfear and Curly Whirly, and Curly Whirly is reserving for Stocky, because as we've already heard, Stocky has vacated his seat until the end of the season. So that's the Fearless Trail Blazers Mercedes. And then the next car along, we've got GG Well Played Ferrari of Overdijking and Jamie James, and their pre-race comments are going to be very interesting to hear today. Then we've got Team Banter Williams of GT5 King and Mornay, and we've also got the Danish Dragons Red Bull of Mr. Hamilton, the new and current, anyway, the world champion from this season, just confirmed, and Bleeding Sunrise, his teammate. The next team along, we have got the Moving Chicane Racing Force India of Coming to Get You and Joe Finn. So Joe Finn is in his car, that's good stuff. The next team along is A2W Racing Renault of Braken Clays and Aircut. We've also got the Prancing Rosso, Toro Rosso, Simo 911 and F1 Roadrunner. We don't have anyone in the Sabres because that's the admin's car. We do have, though, the Underdog McLaren, and this is how much of an underdog they are at the moment. They've only got one driver in their car, and that is Hammer Time 95. Bartman not available, and I'm sure we'll get the news from DP later on about that. We've also got the Lunatic Assassin Racing Haas of Certec Karatepe, but Erna Urcham not available today, so a Likey Mel 05 is in his seat. And then in the Manor Chewbacca rookie is a Likey, no, it's not a Likey Man, it's Schmet. I've just said a Likey Man, was in the other car. So yeah, Schmet 85 is in the Manor. So DP, back to you for the constructors standings.
Yep, okay, so the Drivers' Championship standings, they have been confirmed now, Mr. Hampton 44 as the champion. However, in the Constructors, it's all still to play for, and this is now quite crucial for Temp Fear, because the Danish Dragons Red Bull team are on 399 points leading the way. That's Mr. Hamilton 44 and Bleeding Sunrise. Fearless Trailblazers Mercedes are in second place on 373 points. That's Temp Fear and was Stocky. But obviously Temp Fear has got Curly Whirly in as a reserve today. The Constructors' Championship fight is still on, and it's going to be important for Temp Fear to pick the right type of teammates for the remaining races. In third place, we've got GG Wellplay Ferrari on 234 points. They're still in quite a close fight with fourth place, the Prancing Rosso Toro Rosso, who are on 215 points. We've then got Lunatic Assassin Racing Haas on 194. They're pretty much safe in fifth. And then we've got Moving Chicane Racing Force India on 141. Again, they're looking pretty safe at the moment. However, if Team Banter Williams in seventh place get a couple of good results, it could spice things up a little bit. They're in seventh on 108 points. We've then got the Underdogs McLaren on 99 points and the FRR Chewbacca Rookie Manacor on 39, with A2W Racing Renault on 16 points. You mentioned as well about Bartman. I will get onto that during qualifying if we can. So, Steve, over to yourself for the start of the qualifying session.
Yep, this is the World Championship round 19 in Mexico. I've already had my lunch. Let's hope that it stays inside my gut and not starting to come out like it was earlier. Enough of that. Millstar, Mexico circuit. Very long, fast straight, but also some tight, twisty bits in the middle. High downforce, low downforce. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think you have to go low downforce here because the only real overtaking opportunity is down that long straight, and if you're running high downforce, you're basically a sitting duck every time someone comes around. You're going to have to follow them round again. See if Is it raining? Is it raining?
We've got Dave singing. What are you singing about? Has the rain dance worked?
No, I'm singing a special song for Front Row Racing RI, who's due to get married very soon, but is also unwell at the moment. So hope you get well, Ray. But I was also doing it for another reason. I think Ray will love this one.
Yeah, we can see on the weather forecast that we do have a bit of dampness at the start of the race. That is going to be interesting. So qualifying then, if you were in this qualifying session, Millstar, I suppose you just got to go super soft and go as fast as you can, because there's a good chance you're going to be starting the race on inters.
Yeah, well, contrary to that, Morley is just on softs, which also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, he may just be putting a bit of lap time on the board and using the supers later, but yeah.
Not only that, guys, I mean, okay, it looks like it's going to be potentially a wet start to the race, but that means if it is, then it opens up the tyre choices for the drivers for the remainder of the race, and it could, I mean, you could end up in a situation of, do you take a set of mediums and all the way to the end, or do you do a few super soft runs? So people may think, okay, I don't want to necessarily use the fastest set of tyres straight away in qualifying, because I might not have enough tyres to use for the race if I want to use those. Because looking at the tyre types drivers are bringing, about 9 drivers are bringing balanced sets of tyres, 4 drivers bringing the hardest sets of tyres, which will reduce the amount of really soft tyres they've got, and there's a few drivers keeping it secret as to what tyres they're bringing. I did mention as well about Bartman, if it's alright with you guys, I'll mention Bartman's pre-race comments now before we really get into the action. Bartman messaged us today And he wanted to just quickly say, he said, I just wanted to speak to you about the future of my racing career in front row racing. I've had a blast racing, but my study is taking priority over racing. Next year is my final year at uni, so after that I would be happy to join again, but I'm afraid I just can't put the time into attending the races at the moment. Hope you have fun for the rest of the season, but I'll see you all soon. Thanks for having me. And just say quickly as well, thank you to Bartman for taking part for the few seasons he has been involved. It's been very exciting stuff from him, and also good luck to anybody that is on studies at the moment.
Yeah, back to the action on the circuit. We've got Mr Hamilton just about to cross the line to start his first flying lap. He is on the super softs. I just want a quick word about Mr Hamilton. Okay, he's secured the championship, but he's still in the fight for the constructors. Do you think that is something that he's going to have to try and reprogram into his mind and change the way he drives, or is most I reckon it's just going to be the same as always from him, just go for the win?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe now he's won the championship, he may back off a little bit. But, we'll see. I guess it's going to be. We'll see after how he does.
Yeah,
I've got a feeling he's not going to back off at all. He's going to try and dominate these last 3 races and win every single one of them. From the podium interviews we've had with him, he's always said, I'm not happy unless I'm winning.
that is true. And I'm looking at the clouds, and it looks like we might even get some moisture on the circuit during qualifying. It's looking a bit dull and dark out there. Mr Hamilton's first sector, 29.9, is not that impressive, to be honest with you. I don't know whether he made a mistake in that first sector, but it's not a great sector. Sector 2, 29.1, so it's not like he's running massive downforce and quick through the second sector either. So at the moment those sectors are looking just rather average. Maybe he's not wanting to qualify on these tyres, or wasn't wanting to. Well, let's see what he's going to do as he crosses the line. Is it going to be the 19s? It's a 20.0. That, I'm actually quite surprised that that's got to be a lap on lean, surely. That's got to be just a banker lap. Millstar, what have you got? What can you see?
I'm just watching Kylie Wiley, and he's on soft tyres. He's about to start his lap now.
Okay, give us a talk through his lap. Talk us through it.
Okay, sure I will. So he's on the long straight now. It's a long old straight this, coming up to a heavy braking zone. See how he does on it. Brakes late, very late there, misses the apex a bit. And then swings it into these two quite complicated corners to get right. So he doesn't do too badly there. Gets on the traction nicely as well. Coming up to his first sector timing, there's a car in the way, don't think it affects him though. 20 on 2, locks up heavily into that corner. He's compromised him through here. I think he may have backed, no he hasn't backed off. Very slow little section here he's going through, and contrastingly it's quite a fast section coming in now. See how he does, and he's gone very, very wide. I think he's backed off.
Yeah, that's his lap.
Cross the line and take pole.
Okay, so let's have a look at Tampere. To get to him, come on. There he is. He's one corner to go. He's got 28.8 sector 1, 29.2 sector 2. He's on the soft compound, and even if he does take provisional, which he has, yeah, good sector 3 there. We're going to see that beat though, surely, with somebody on a set of supers.
GT5 can move on the lap. He's just starting now.
Well, GT5 King, he had a phenomenal qualifying session in America. Got himself into 4th, I believe it was, and he's just put himself in 4th here as well.
A guy that is out there, I know that's on a flyer at the moment, is Simo. So if somebody keeps an eye on where Simo goes, because him and he's in the Prancing Rosso, Toro Rosso, and they're in a bit of a championship fight with the Ferraris. So it'll be interesting to see where they qualify. As GT5 Kings does a 28.9 sector 1, but extremely slow through the turns 4 and 5. I think he's backed out of his lap. Yeah, he's short shifting there.
Is in the pits. He's coming in second. No, been bumped to 3rd, but he's in the pits.
Kind of getting into 5 back to finish his lap.
Yeah. Seeing as you've interrupted us, tell us about it.
Oh, it's finished. It's finished. But, I think he's on another lap, so yeah, I'll just take you through then, I guess.
Yeah.
Coming up to the first section again, let's see how he does compared to February. Hits the apex nicely. Little section again, does well. Coming up to the first DRS zone, I think. See what his first sector was like. It's better than his previous one. It is 4 tenths faster. Looking like a good lap from him. Locks up into that corner a little bit. slow section here, just coming around the grandstands. Yeah, it's nice, gets on the traction quite nicely there. It's a long, winding section, quite difficult, especially with no assists.
And if you're running low aeros, yeah, I was going to say, if you're running low aeros, this part of the circuit is not very nice to get through, is it?
Right, let's see his second sector how he does. 29.2. Not too bad so far. Very hard, little twisty section here. Patience is quiet through there. Looks like he got a bit of a wheel spin coming through the last section. Let's see how he does. He's currently in 10th. On the soft tyres, he goes 8th now.
Yeah. I'm quite
just look at Braken Clays has taken pole position on the super soft tyre, but most people are struggling on the super soft tyre at the moment to get the grip out of the car. I mean, 10th here, with his lap time we saw earlier on, I mean, Braken Clays only just beat it by less than a tenth of a second.
I get the feeling we're going to have a very busy last few minutes in this qualifying session. There's quite a lot of cars out on the circuit at the moment.
Yeah, there is actually only 1 second separating first and 12th.
Wow.
Which is very close, very close.
Yeah, I like him while he's on screen at the moment. He's gone down towards sector 1. It's a 29.3, but he's broke late and missed the apex, and that could be disaster for his sector 2 time. We'll just see how he gets on. He's currently sitting 14th place. He's on the super softs. I like him out. Is the rookie driver? No, he's not. He's in the lunatic assassin Haas, isn't he? Of course he is.
He is, yeah.
So he's in Werner Ertram as a reserve driver. Okay, so he has just made a mistake. It's invalidated his lap times. That's unfortunate.
Mr. Hamilton 44 just started a flying lap again on the soft compound tyre, but Simo is also out there on the super soft tyre.
Yeah, Simo just heading down towards turn 1, DRS open, and he'll be doing probably just over 220 miles an hour as he hits the foot brake and gets it turned in for the apex of 1 and 2, and then 3, and he's around there nicely. DRS gets to pop open once more, and at the end of this straight we get to find out if he's up on his sector time. Previously a 29.1, and he's got a 28.9, so 2 tenths up. And
Mr. 44 is faster though on the harder compound tyre.
Whoa, so what's Mr. Hamilton's first sector?
28.8, was only by a tenth, but he's going through the middle sector now. He is ahead of Simo on the track as well. So Mr. Hamilton 44, 28.5 sector 2 time. This guy is absolutely flying at the moment as he comes into the stadium section. And this is where people on the soft compound tyre, the super soft tyres, sorry, have been struggling a little bit. The traction, the grip around the final Nigel Mansell curve. Well, let's see what Mr. Hamilton 44's got as he crosses the line, takes pole position on the soft compound tyre. Interesting that.
I made a prediction earlier on today that the pole time would be a 17.8 on soft tyres, and that was a 17.9.
Sorry, Simo did improve. He matched Miss Hamilton 44 in the middle sector, but he improved in the final sector. Let's see, I mean, there can't be much, 0.024 between them, but Miss Hamilton 44 is on the soft compound tyre. If he's able to find time from the super softs, he could stomp pole position here.
Well, I'm just wondering whether he was going to go for another lap. Nope, his first sector's down, so he won't be going for another lap. Is he going to go super softs? He's going to have to get back to the pits and bolt them on. Anybody else out there? We've got Temp Fear on an out lap. He's heading towards end of sector 1.
Finish his lap, sorry to interrupt.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
No, he hasn't. He's just drifted into the pits.
Okay. GT5 King has done sector 1 and a sector 2. He's on the soft compound tyres, currently sat in 12th place. Is he going to head for the pit lane, or is he going to cross the line? He's got his foot floored. Opposite lock on round that last corner, crosses the line, and I don't think he improved on his lap time. And Schmidt is the rookie driver out there, and he's done a 29.0 for the first sector on the super soft.
Simo's improved again. He's about to cross the line and no, I don't think he did improve his time. No, he didn't. He lost time in the final sector. He gained 2 tenths in sector 1, matched his previous best sector 2, but lost 3 tenths in sector 3.
Oh dear.
Temp Fear has just started a flying lap.
Okay, Millstar, over to you for Temp Fear's lap.
Okay, so Temp Fear again coming down that long straight. Let's see how he fares in this deep, hard braking zone. See how he does. He misses the apex slightly there, but it doesn't look like it's affecting him too much. Slow left-right hander coming up to the first DRS zone. This is a potential overtaking spot actually as well in the race. So see how he goes into this very, very tight, short chicanes sort of section. Got a 28.8 sector 1. Looks like he got a bit of excess wheel spin there. A little bit. Coming up to this tricky little section again. He's gone wide on the first bit, but he looks like he's recovered that. Doing very nicely there. And it's coming up to see the second sector. It's a 29.1. Again, this grandstand bit where DP was saying that people were struggling on super softs. See how he does. It looks like he managed to hold that well, and struggles to get the traction down, but comes through to finish his lap and goes fourth with 118.4.
He just took that fourth place off Jamie James, but coming to get you has just taken the fourth place off the both of them. Okay,
I'm going to ask DP now if we could quickly do the pre-race comments from the teammates of the pre-race comments we've already had. So basically Mr Hamilton's teammate and Stocky's teammate. So when you've got them to hand.
Can do. Just to let you know as well though, that A-Cut is about to start a flying lap on the super soft tyre, and he has taken a couple of pole positions in his first couple of drives in front of Racing World Championship, so he's on a flying lap now. But yeah, Bleeding Sunrise, Mr Hampton 44's teammate, had a chat with him earlier on and said to him, with your skills in the commentary box being excellent, does your teammate wish you would talk less on the radio when racing? To which Bleeding Sunrise laughed and said, good question, but in the race we don't talk except if it's anything major happens or we discuss if it's ready yet for rain or dry tyres. Not gonna lie, it's gonna be a tough race for me. Let's see, Temp Fear, his pre-race comments, so we had a chat with him, and Steve said to him, what attributes will you be looking for in a driver to replace Stocky? And Temp Fear said, not looking for particular attributes, as every driver is different. I'd say I'm not fussy. I could be teammates with most if I'm honest, have to judge it case by case. Importantly though, Mercedes can still win the Constructors' title, so I need to pick carefully and wisely. I might pick different people every time for the last few races, or I might not. All depends on a few things, including the constructors' standings.
Just fantastic sector times. Yeah, Aircut's just crossing the line, and that is P1, provisional P1. Oh, that's sector 3, a 20.3. That is phenomenal, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's a purple. So, wow. Yes, Simo is on an outlap, but he's going to be one to keep an eye on. Mr Hamilton crosses the line and retakes 4th position. I'm wondering whether he's going to go for another lap.
F1 Roadrunner's about to come into the final corner. He's currently in 12th, but if he has a decent final corner, he may be able to move up a few places here. Possibly top 8 maybe? No, unfortunately it's 10th. However, Over Dyking, who was 10th, may be happy. I mean, we've said it before, Steve. If you're going to be starting 10th or 11th, you'd rather start 11th, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. But then again, with the start of the race being as it is, with potentially wet, I think further up the grid the better in this situation.
True. Curly Whirly about to start a flyer.
Yeah, okay, we've got Mornay that's on. Mornay's done a great sector 1, a 28.7 sector 1 from Mornay, and he's currently sat in 2nd place as well. So Mornay, he's on it here. So I'm going to keep with Mornay for a moment, see how he finishes with this. He's done a 28.4 sector 2. Please tell me that's purple, because I don't think anyone's gone faster than that so far today. Into the last sector now. 2 corners to go. Well, it's actually 3, because there's turn 15 and this is turn 16. Gets the power down. Currently sat in P2. He's been dropped to 3rd, but can he get any positions back? No, he stays 3rd. What have we got?
Unfortunately for Mornay, it was a purple sector 2, but Mr Hamilton's just popped in a phenomenal lap time on the super soft tyre. Well, I say phenomenal, he's only purple in sector 2, but he did a 28.2. His overall lap time was 117.547, and it almost looks like he's still pushing for another lap. I'm going to have a look at what his sector 1 time is on this occasion. 28.8. That matches what he did previously. I think he is pushing for another flying lap here.
Okay, just coming up to the end of their lap is Curly Whirly, sat in 13th place. He's done a 28.9 sector 1, a 28.5 sector 2. But with him in 13th place, there's positions here for him to gain, and he wants to be. Oh, I thought he was going to go for the pit lane. He had that much opposite lock then, and it crosses the line. It's 9th. I think that last corner just caught him out a little bit there. So let's have a look at the potential pole sitters. Well, I say that we've got Overdyking just crossing the line. I don't know whether it's a pole sitter, but he's in 7th place. And where have we got Mr. Hamilton? Where is he on the circuit?
Mr. Hamilton's coming into the final complex of corners, I believe, or just on the final corners now. Not improved on his sector 2 time though. Simo's out on track, but it's only a 28.8 sector 1. Going to need a phenomenal sector 2 time to try and improve on his current position of 4th.
Yeah, and Mornay backed out of his lap. He's on an in lap now, so his qualifying session is done as well. 25.8 for Simo. He needs a lightning quick sector 3 here to improve on his 4th place. And I can imagine, oh, we've just been kicked from the pit lane up into our commentary box, so we'll have a quick look at Simo, see how he's doing. Is he going to go from 4th to 3rd or 2nd? Where's it going to be? I think it's going to stay 4th for him, unfortunately. Must be extremely tight up at the front couple of rows for this grid. Do we have anybody else out there that could still set time? Yeah, we do have.
To get you is improving on his lap time. 28.8 sector 1, 28.5 sector 2.
Okay, 2 corners to go. Currently sat in what was 8th, he's just dropped to 9th. And he's going to be wanting to improve on his lap time. It looks like he's got a good exit out of the corner. He's gone P3. Ooh. That is a quality sector 3 there from him. Not exactly sure what it was, but it's jumped him lots of positions. So who else have we got?
Sector 3 time was a 20.2 for coming to get you.
Wow. Yeah, a very good sector 3. I mean, does that say high downforce or low downforce to you there? If Millstar, if he's able to get that sort of time in that last sector?
I think that you've seen quite a few guys struggling through the tight and twisty section, so I think definitely that high downforce seems to be working today, it seems.
Yeah, I'm just wondering as well whether that's going to benefit the high downforce runners with the start of the race, and to see who's
there is potential that it might just be a qualifying benefit, and in the race it might be a disadvantage.
Quite possibly. DP, I understand you've got a question of the day for us. Do you have time to chuck it in there?
We may have. I was going to quickly mention as well that something we saw from the reserve races is the guy who sits on pole here doesn't tend to be leading the race by the time they get down to turn 1. Okay, question of the day. If you want to have a go answering this one, folks, get your guesses in the YouTube chat. Just see if it's going to bring up the standards. No, not yet. Okay, so Mr. Hamilton 44 has won the FRR World Championship title with 279 points up to now, but using the point scoring system from the first Grand Prix at this Mexican racetrack in 1986, how many points would Mr. Hamilton 44 have up to now? I can give you a little bit of information. He's had at least 7 victories and quite a few other positions, but if you want to have a guess at what kind of points he'll have on that one, pop your answers in the YouTube chat, and I'm going to ask my co-commentators. You have not been pre-warned about this one, so go on then, work it out. He's on 279 92. At the moment.
92, random guess.
Yeah, I was going to say 82 actually.
Yeah, well, I reckon it's be around there somewhere.
Guesses.
Well, it's waiting a very long time for this. Oh, there we go. It's come up. Millstar, would you like to go through the qualifying result for us?
Yep, sure. On pole is Mr. Hamilton 44. Second is Akart TR, who's very close, by the way. Third is coming to get at 85. Fourth is Mornay 77. Fifth is Simo at 911. Sixth is 10th Fear. 7th is Curly Whirly. 8th is Jamie James. 9th is Breaking Clays. 10th is Overdyking. I'm trying to hurry up all the time. 11th is Bleeding Sunrise. 12th is F1 Roadrunner. 13th Hammer Time. 14th GT5 King. 15th Certek Karantepe, and I don't know who was 16th. That's
Well, 16th was Schmet, 17th Alaikumal, 18th Duo Finn. And the trick to that is take a picture of it, and then you know what it is when it runs out. I was prepared for it to run out on you. I was a bit cruel of me to do that, to drop that onto you. But we do have the wet weather.
That beautiful sound.
It says Inters, but it's not wet on my car.
No, it's green on mine. It says Inters and it is green on mine. So looking at the conditions and also the session forecast at the top of the screen at the moment, we've got one box that says light rain in it, and then it's dry through the race. I don't think the guys are going to be on these intermediates for very long at all. But what tyres they go on to after that, that is the important question. Okay, we're going to have a formation lap here, and during this formation lap, once my car starts moving, I will be jumping out of this lobby to then rejoin so that we can view the start of the race from off board, so we can watch it on the broadcast mode. While I'm doing that though, Millstar, there's no point in having a look to see what tyres people behind 10th are starting on, because I think we know. But anything from the drivers there that stand out that make you think, do you know what, him starting in that position is going to be very interesting for this race?
That's an interesting question, actually. I think that seeing Akot battle Mr. Surprisingly, this looks like an order that maybe 10th here is a bit lower than normally, but apart from that, I think this is a pretty expected grid.
I think the one to look out for could be Coming to Get You. Starting in third place here, you could get a good run down towards turn 1. I'm just going to see if I can pop a quick driver's pre-race comment in. Hammer Time 95, I mean, he's going to be one of interest here for me. He was asked earlier on, what's your favourite Mexican food? And he said, favourite food would have to be nachos, and I'm just going to go all out for the final 3 races and hopefully have some fun.
Yeah, hopefully he will. And I'm just wondering, oh hang on, we've got a stray dog in the commentary booth. We'll see if we can remove him quickly before he starts eating my ankles. Yes, as the guys get round towards the start, strategies have got to be completely finger in the air, kind of see what happens. Kind of, you can't predict it in these conditions, can you?
No, you can't. I mean, I remember Riley in the World Championship last season. We had wet conditions here in Mexico, and it was extremely difficult. It's an awkward track, because if you've gambled with the low aeros, as we saw Akut do in Japan, I think it was, and going for a phase of rain on low aeros, it's so difficult in those conditions. But if it's dry quick, then it'll benefit you so much.
Yeah, and around here with the temperatures that we have, it is a circuit that tends to dry quite quickly. So as we get back to the guy that is up the front, no, do you know what, he's put me on board my car. I'm going to have to retire my car. Oh, I don't want to move it, so I'm going to end up getting disqualified now. This is rather frustrating.
It might not work for you, Steve.
I know, I've just had that thought.
We're all on a black screen.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case.
Okay, I shall try and record what I can. So we've got 4 lights, 5 lights, and away the drivers. Difficult to get these cars moving once they're off the line, but now heading down into turn 1. I can't see at the moment exactly what is happening there, but hopefully in a few moments I will. But yeah, somebody is into the barrier already. I can't tell what car that is. It could be a Toro Rosso, and Coming to Get You has taken the lead. And where is Mr. Hamilton 44?
I'm trying to find him. He's down to 15th. I think he's got damage.
Okay,
he may have damage, so yeah, we've not been able to see on the broadcast, unfortunately, but down into 15th he goes. But yeah, Coming to Get You takes the lead of the race. Over to you, Steve.
Well, at the moment, it's all it's showing me is the pit lane, which is rather frustrating. Get back onto drivers. Yeah, that's okay.
Ooh, sorry to interrupt. Mr. Hamilton just had another crash with F1 Roadrunner. This is down, and Acot's been involved in whatever crash has happened as well, and Hamilton's now out of the session.
Okay, So yeah, hammer time. It's not happening for him at the moment. It is the kind of race though where it could come back to him, but he's got a lot of work to do from there. He might as well have done the championship challenge, and if nobody knows what that is, we'll explain it to you later on.
Mornay's under pressure from Braken Clays, and right behind him Jamie James and Curly Whirly beginning to pressure him, but also at the front Temp Fear is ever so close to coming to get you, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move.
No, and coming to get you has gone defensive up along the pit wall, quite early defensive as well. I don't actually know whether that was defensive or whether the back end kicked away from him, but he's kept that healthy lead from Temp Fear. But looking further back, it looks like Braken Clays has managed to keep up behind Mornay, but do you know, with the conditions that they've got, I mean, no DRS being available, overtaking down that straight is going to still be quite difficult.
Sorry to interrupt, there's battle for 7th place with Lycamal 05 and the GT5 King. It looks like he's not going in the slipstream GT5 King at the moment, actually. I don't know if he's going to go on the brakes, so Lycamal goes defensive and keeps the position.
Okay, I can see that being a battle that's going to carry on throughout this race.
So Braken Clays making a move on Mornay. They're side by side heading in towards turn 7, and you don't want to be side by side there, and thankfully Braken Clays backs out of it. That gives him an opportunity to make the move on the exit of the corner, but no, he's hung out to dry, and now Jamie James may be able to attack.
Yeah, Jamie James putting that pressure on the back of Mornay, and it would be Curly Whirly coming up behind them. What a race to be in for Curly Whirly with these conditions. At the high pressure race, he needs to score points for his Mercedes team for the Constructors' Championship. They need as many points as they can get, and he's right up behind Jamie James, who is up behind Mornay, who is struggling to keep with Braken Clays at the moment, but coming to get you sets the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:31, a long way off the dry times. Who's going to be able to make a move down into turn 1? I think further down the field there might be something if somebody wants to have a little look a bit further down, but Jamie James making that move into turn 1. He's up alongside Mornay, trying to outbrake Mornay. Can he get the car stopped and turned in? He can. So that move is done on Mornay. Nothing he can do about it. And now Jamie James.
Go on, keep going.
Jamie James is starting to chase Braken Clays.
Okay, Aker has just made a move, I believe, on Schmidt down in 12th place. He may be able to keep going and make further gains as well. Mr. Hamilton 44 has got damage to his front wing end plate. Over Dykink has also lost positions. He's down in 17th place. He won't be pleased with that. But in these conditions where it already looks like the track's beginning to dry up a little bit.
It's a big battle for 7th place with GT5 Team Simo and Lycamal and Bleeding Sunrise. I think Lycamal's lost 3 positions there, 2 positions, sorry. I'm not sure, but they look like they were going side by side through the section.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to say actually, also, if you want to just have a look, see if anyone had to pit on those first couple of opening laps. DP has already said that Mr. Hamilton has got damage to his front wing, which sounds like he's decided not to pit. He might be trying to string it out a bit.
Just over Dykink's pitted. I think he had no front wing at the start.
Oh dear, well, it'll be interesting to see how he lost that. We'll find out later on. I'm pretty sure he's struggling. Jamie James, his teammate, is struggling to get the power down coming out the last corner, and that has allowed Mornay to start to catch up the rear of that car. Looking a bit further down the field behind these. No, I'm going the wrong way. Who's in the other Williams? It's GT5 King, that's who I wanted, because he's got Simo 911 right up behind him. I was expecting him to go for a move down into turn 1. Simo's go on, I thought he was going to go for it because GT5 King went deep, but Simo decided he was going to stay behind him. But if he it's so close, he's going to end up pushing GT5 King along in a minute. I think that was the first Williams powered Red Bull for some time, or Red Bull powered Williams.
Good move.
Yeah, and just to confirm, it's Bleeding Sunrise that is behind GT5 King, not Mr. Hamilton. He is way down the field at the moment, but I'm sure he'll be fighting his way back through, just as Over Dykink is at the moment as well. Intermediate tyres, how many laps will intermediate tyres do if conditions last longer than we expect? What are your thoughts on that?
from what I've seen, if it stays like this, they could potentially do a one-stop and intermediate tyres. Bleeding Sunrise is getting a little bit feisty on the back of GT5 King again, but I think Jamie James may also be close. I don't think he's close enough to have an attack of Breaking Clays, and I also don't think Temp Fear is close enough to coming to get you. No, Temp Fear is 2.2 seconds off.
And Bleeding Sunrise just had a bit of rear wheel action coming around the last corner, which it seems to be just something to do with his driving style. He likes to seem to keep that rear end out, but it's affected his top end speed on that long straight past the start finish line. Haircut. Oh, we've just seen somebody off the circuit has just come back on again. I think that might have been Serta.
It's a Lycamal.
Is that Lycamal?
No, it's a Lycamal. Yep.
That's unfortunate for him, and he does have Haircut trying to get past him, and this is a battle for 10th position, but it doesn't matter what position it is in front of racing, everybody wants to be ahead of the car in front. Is that right, ahead of the car in front? Yeah, you want to be ahead of the car in front, don't you? I was going to say behind the car in front. I was like, no, you want to be ahead of the car in front. So we're 5 laps in.
Sorry,
yes, all right.
All being Sunrise moved for 8th place here with GT5 King alongside him. I think he's done the move before the corner. Yep. Look that simple there. GT5 King going to fight back. I don't think it's a good move from being Sunrise.
Yeah, a difficult turn 12 where that overtake was done. It's very easy to outbrake yourself and find yourself going off the circuit, and there's not much runoff for him before you find a wall there. So
Haircut's close enough for the move, but he's nearly lost the rear end of the car. He's sideways all the way around the final corner. Yeah, he's going to have the move done here, I think.
Okay, the sort of speeds they're going to be doing with that DRS is going to be over 200 mile an hour still, so he's still got to get the braking right. But has he got enough straight line speed? He's left it till right to the last minute. I don't think he's got it. He can't. I just don't think Haircut's got that straight line speed around here today. DP, we've experienced it before.
Really nice run,
yeah,
it's got a really nice run now.
It's got the exit speed out of the corners, but the straight line might not be there. Can he do it?
Gonna have to break really late here. No, Lycamal beats him. Oh, but Lycamal's gone wide. Is that a chance for him here to go around the outside of him? Oh, they touch. They touch slightly, and Haircut's forced wide, but gains the position. I think that's legitimate enough.
Yeah, there's a bit of contact there between the two of them, but they're both able to continue on. But yeah, something I was going to touch on with DP in, I think it was Suzuka, we saw Haircut in changeable conditions go from pole position, dropping way down the field. And I'm just wondering whether he's taken that into consideration today and maybe adapted his setup.
I think he may have done, I really do. Curly Whirly has been catching up to, I was going to say catching up to Simo. I think he has. I don't think Simo's recently made a move on him. Curly Whirly may be gaining on Simo here. I don't think he's going to be able to make a move though. But I also think the conditions are changing slightly right now. I wouldn't necessarily say it's getting drier, but it does look like drivers are struggling a little bit out there for grip. And Curly Whirly is going to try and make the move. He's having a look at the inside, but has to brake early, and that gives Simo a little bit of a breather. A little bit more information for you as well. Breaking Clays is catching up to Temp Fear.
And that would be for, that's second and third place, isn't it? So
yeah.
That's podium positions. Yeah, we'll have a little look at that at the moment, because Curly Whirly is right behind Simo, fighting for this 6th position. Millstar, keep an eye on the guys up at the front, and give us a shout as soon as something's going to happen there, because looking at the way Curly's driving, anything could happen here, any particular corner. He's looking very interested at getting by, and it looks like Curly settled into the driving with no assists, as if he's been doing it all his life, to be honest with you. Hopefully that's not a commentator's curse. If it is, I'm sorry. Yeah, so heading now towards the turn 12, heavy braking into the stadium section, and Curly's just gone a little bit wide. That's going to affect him now. He's not going to be able to stay close enough to him for that slipstream down the long straight, and that might just compromise him for this particular lap. Breaking Clay's fastest lap of the race.
Breaking Clays has got to run on Temp Fear.
On Temp Fear. This is for second place. He's going to go onto the inside of this corner, but Temp Fear looks like he outbraked him, but no, he's made a move.
Yeah, I think Temp Fear there was hoping that Breaking Clays would outbrake himself and shoot straight on. But
Temp Fear looks like he's going to go for a sort of a fly move, but Breaking Clays really going defensive, and Temp Fear's gone for a sort of switchback. But no, he's not able to make the moves.
We've got Jamie James very close to the back of this group here as well, and yeah, it's all looking very nice and rosy for Coming to Get You out in the lead at the moment. He'll be just wishing that these lot behind him just keep battling and slowing each other down, and he'll be hoping that Breaking Clays doesn't manage to break away from Temp Fear, which it looks like he's managed to do through that sector too. Now, would it be surely it's not you know, after 8 laps tyres are being affected for tyre wear? Is it likely to be overheating the tyres? Why would people's pace be different?
I think it's just a case of the track is getting a little bit drier and these inters are suffering for grip. Maybe they're out of their temperature window, but the rain is definitely easing off, and this is where it's now going to be crucial for drivers to have a teammate that's useful to them, because the likes of Coming to Get You, if he doesn't talk much with Duofin, he's not going to be able to get any info off him if Duofin was to go for dry tyres earlier than he was. Temp Fear may be able to use Curly Whirly in that respect and see what Curly Whirly's like. Temp Fear's coming under pressure from Jamie James, by the way, big pressure. Yeah, so Temp Fear can use Curly Whirly. Mishampton 44 may be able to make the gamble himself or use Bleeding Sunrise, but at the moment Bleeding Sunrise is in 8th place, right on the back of Curly Whirly, who's in 7th place, and actually I think Bleeding Sunrise is going to try and make a move here. He is going to try and make a move. Curly Whirly not defending, but no, Bleeding Sunrise can't throw it up the inside.
Right, but that looks like it'll be a move that will be coming soon. While we're waiting for this overtake, actually, you talk about teammates there helping each other out. I know that there was a couple of questions asked to some of the drivers about teammates for next season, and one of them was Coming to Get You. So Coming to Get You's pre-race comments are very interesting. If you could bring those to us when you're ready.
They are. I just want to let you know as well, Jamie James is very, very close to the back of Temp Fear, and Temp Fear's car is very, very sideways. Okay, Coming to Get You, currently leading this race. The questions put to him today were, rumours have been heard around the paddock that you have been seen helping an up-and-coming driver develop his no-assist abilities. Is he likely to be your teammate for next season? And Coming to Get You says, hey guys, hope you're all doing well in the heat. Trust me, we're not. He says, as for the rumours, well, rumours are rumours, let them talk away. I will be teaming up with a new teammate next season, but I'll let you get on because Jamie James is having a look.
Yeah,
doesn't go for the move,
not quite able to make it.
Yeah, so Coming to Get You says, I will be teaming up with a new teammate next season. However, with the rumours going around of who and which team I'll be with, well, you all have to be kept waiting until the last possible moment. He's also added another bit, which is PS DP, I'm still waiting for an answer on Abu Dhabi. The team still need to do a seat fitting for you. Trust me, there isn't a seat big enough. But we'll get on to that at some point, because I don't think GP's got any idea what that is about. But this battle for 3rd place at the moment is still going strong.
Yeah, I'm aware that he wants you to come out of retirement for the last race of the season.
Yeah.
But
well, Jamie James, sorry, I was going to say, Jamie James is in this battle, is really applying pressure to Temp Fear here. And seeing as we are sort of keeping an eye on Jamie James, I thought we might mention about his teammates' pre-race comments and Jamie James's own pre-race comments, if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Ovid Eiking, let's see, a question put to him earlier on today was, how are the negotiations going regarding your new teammate for next season? Previous pre-race comments have hinted that there's going to be a change. He said, as for the team, I know the team has offered a pre-contact tract to a driver in the assist league to move up to WC next season. It all depends on how my teammate performs. After losing his podium last time out due to penalties, my teammate has been informed by the team that if he is to pick up penalties this race and or finish outside the top 6, he's going for the move.
He's gone for the move. He's going to break up the inside of Temp Fear, turns it in, and it looks like he's got the move done. No switchback from Temp Fear, so that is Jamie James into P3. Oh wait, Jamie James, bad exit out of that corner there, and that's allowed Temp Fear to have a fight back towards turn 12, but No, that's not turn 12. That's a left-hander. That's turn 4. My
turn 4.
apologies.
On the inside.
Oh, slow on the exit. Difficult to get the power down, and I'm just wondering whether that's caused any damage to Jamie James's front wing. Hopefully not. But
It doesn't look like it. Just to finish off what Jamie James has said, though. Sorry, what Overdyking has said. He said, my teammate has been informed by the team that if he is to pick up penalties this race and/or finish outside the top 6, his position in the team could be very much in danger for next season. And going on to Jamie James, he was asked, with your teammate openly looking for a new teammate next season, who will you be looking for to replace him? And Jamie James said, well, I thought he was only joking. I'm happy with the partnership with Overdyking. The team work well together, but if that's how he feels, I guess I'll have to start asking around the paddock. Someone else can come to Spain with me next year now.
Okay, so that's because he's got the F1 tickets. So yeah, whoever's Jamie James' teammate for next season, there's a trip to the Spanish F1, and that's the real Spanish F1. So yeah, I wonder how many invitations he's going to get for new teammates. He's gone for the overtake though. He's going for the overtake again in turn 1. He's got them. It looks like he's got that move done again, and it looks like it's almost stopped raining out there, as it's just a bit of mist coming up off the tyres now, a bit of moisture. Jamie James then up to P3. Can Temp Fiat get the move done in towards turn 4 as the leaves start to fall off the trees now? And no, it's Jamie James P3.
Well, Bleeding Sunrise is still all over the back of Curly Whirly, and GT5 King is still right there with him. So we have got a battle still going for 7th place. So fantastic stuff out there at the moment.
Yeah, we did see.
Just to give you.
Sorry, I was going to say we did see Curly Whirly earlier on fighting the back of Simo's car. And I'm just wondering, these changeable conditions now is just starting to show with Curly not having the experience in these sort of conditions. Yeah, like I say, it's just starting to show now.
Okay, some information for him. Mr. Hamilton 44 currently sitting in 15th place. He's lost quite a bit of time recently. He's still running with damage, and Overdyking is gaining on him. He's got a gap for there was about 10 seconds down to 1 second. So Overdyking going quick at the moment. If these guys could time a stop for the dry tyres, absolutely spot on. I think they could still get themselves in the points, even though they're in 15th and 16th at the moment.
Okay, Millstar, you need to keep your eyes peeled now for anybody trying to take that gamble and going for a pit stop.
Yeah. No one's pitted yet, I don't think.
Right, I don't think it's going to be too long.
I think that coming to get you is going to dictate sort of, he's going to start this sort of everyone pitting, because Breaking Clear's obviously going to see him pitting and surely make a decision based on that. I think they'll just roll down the order.
I've just seen ahead of Coming to Get You is his teammate. Now, yes, Coming to Get You's leading, so ahead of him sounds a bit daft, but he's coming up to lap his teammate Joey Finn. Now, I don't think there's any communication between the two of them during a race, but could you imagine if you were Coming to Get You thinking, right, I'm leading this race, when do I want to pit for them dry tyres? And you get there to find that your teammate has just gone in ahead of you, yet he's in last place and you're in first. It's something that...
communication.
Yeah. And that is probably why Coming to Get You, no offence to Joey Finn, Coming to Get You probably will be looking for, like I said, another teammate for next year. Maybe somebody that is going to help communicate with him and help the team progress a bit more than they have done this season. So Coming to Get You coming around the corner to finish lap 13 off 36, and I can tell you it definitely has stopped raining out there, and the umbrellas have been put away. The sun is going to start breaking through those clouds soon. The lap times are starting to fall. It's a healthy gap he's got there between himself and Breaking Clays of 2.8 seconds, and looking a bit further down the field,
I could see Coming to Get You going for just, he's going to go whenever he's ready to. A-Cut's getting close to the back of GT5 King.
Yeah, we've got Jamie James under pressure still from Temp Fiat in 3rd and 4th position. You mentioned A-Cut and GT5 King. Yeah, A-Cut there. As the conditions get drier, I expect him to get a lot quicker than he has been going. He likes the dry conditions more than the wet. I was just about to say, is he going to go for the overtake? And I stopped myself, so I thought, no, he won't, and then he did. But he didn't manage to make it work. He locked the tyres up, and GT5 King got around the corner ahead of him.
just to give the viewers some information, Jamie James is opening up the gap a little bit to Temp Fear. It's not by a lot, but it definitely looks like these guys are struggling on these intermediate tyres. I mean, I did say a one-stop is doable on the Inters, but they would prefer to be in slightly wetter conditions, I think.
Yeah, and Mr. Hamilton is just about to lose his position to Overdijking as they head towards turn 4, and Overdijking goes up the inside, but Mr. Hamilton gives him space, but Overdijking doesn't make the move.
Ooh, sorry to interrupt. There's Mornay is just. I think I don't know who that. I think it was Temp Fear. He's gone really wide. He's down. I don't know if he's collided with someone.
Well, they're side by side.
He was set. I don't know.
No,
I think he's lost position.
Mornay was behind Temp Fear, so Temp Fear has lost the position to Mornay there. I couldn't see it under the stadium section, but yeah, Mornay has gained a place.
So yeah, Mornay up to 4th position, and for Temp Fear,
GT5 King and A-Cut. I think GT5 King is about to get attacked. He is down in towards turn 1.
Temp Fear's really struggling. I don't know if he's got damage or something, but really drifted across those last few corners, losing a lot of time.
Unfortunately, A-Cut wasn't able to...
Whoa, A-Cut!
Oh, big sideways! I take it you saw that as well then?
Yeah, there was a lot of opposite lock on that car, and I was surprised he was able to manage to get it going in the direction that he did. If that's not a sign that these tyres have just about had it, I don't know what is.
Well, I said earlier on that in last year's World Championship race, this was a difficult event when it rained, and it was. And it was this phase of the race that was really, really difficult. It's kind of not wet enough for the Inters, but it's too wet for the slicks. And taking the gamble of going for the slicks, it just isn't the right time. It's one of those things where really the drivers, they've just got to keep going on these Inters, go searching for damp parts of the track if you need to, but do not go onto those dry tyres until it really is time for you to do it. And the usual signal for that is when the DRS is available.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, you know, whether it would have been quicker for some of these drivers to say probably pit 5 laps ago and to then have a fresher set of tyres in this phase. That may have I'm just wondering whether that would have been a possibility, or whether sticking it out on these tyres is the better way to go. But it does look extremely difficult out there for them. Just remind the viewers as well that these guys that are driving it, they are driving with no assist. It's the no assist league. So no traction control, no ABS, manual gears.
Sorry to interrupt. Certec Karantepe has just gone into the pits.
Okay, let us know what he's going to do. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out what he comes out on and how he manages. DP, something that you could do for me, if you could, is coming to get you. Have a look how his lap times have been dropping off over the last, say, 5 laps. Compared to what he was doing, because I've got a feeling that he's probably going to be going a lot slower, even though the track's getting a lot drier. He's completely sideways. So the first driver out on the dries is Certec Karantepe. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on with those, and coming to get you is looking for those wet patches, and always taking a defensive line down that start-finish straight with nobody behind him. That's because he is looking for those. Oh, we've got a retirement. I like him out. We'll find out shortly whether that was terminal damage or not, or whether it was just a disagreement with the game.
Yeah, I can tell you that's a disagreement with the wall. Then I can tell you that coming to get you, his lap times are good. He's not losing any time out there at the moment.
Wow.
I mean, okay, maybe could be going quicker because he's getting rid of fuel, but his lap times are quicker now than they were at the start of the race. Just so you know as well, Simo is now catching up to the back of Temp Fear, but I think we're really close to that proper pit stop window for these guys.
Yeah, and the guys that were doing extremely well at the start of the race may start to struggle a little bit when the circuit is a lot drier. Now, we saw Temp Fear put a good lap time in qualifying when it was dry. He's dropped a few places in these conditions at the moment, and when it gets dry again, he might start coming back through the field. He's just got to keep his head, keep patient. But yet Simo is there, up behind him. As Temp Fear is up behind, I believe that to be Mornay. Yeah, Mornay in 4th place. I don't think it's going to be too long before some of these front runners start considering to go into the pits, but you've got to start thinking about what compound, because yes, you could get the mediums to the end. Can you get at what point can you get the soft tyres to the end? Because you've got to be working that out while you're racing, haven't you?
So it's really struggling on those mediums.
Okay, so there's a call to any of the race engineers to tell your drivers it. Go on, sorry, Milstar, say again.
Certak just stopped the car, I'm not sure why.
I think blue flag situation there for him. He was moving out of the way for this whole battle that's going on, and that's actually allowed Temp Fear to get even closer to the back of Mornay, and it's allowed Mornay to get closer to the back of Brake and Clays, and Brake and Clays must have made a mistake because Jamie James is now up to 2nd.
He is. Jamie James has gone past him, and Brake and Clays, we've seen him in the past where he can be hard on his tyres, and I'm just wondering whether he's got those tyres past their usable life. 18 laps on them. Well, we know that they're good for 20 odd laps if it's good conditions for them, but you can't say that these are good conditions for an intermediate tyre. You're going to be burning through them quicker than you would be if the conditions stayed a lot damper. Temp Fear looking for a move on Mornay. I don't think he's going to be able to get that done into turn 12. He's going up the inside there, 13 into the hairpin. Has Mornay seen him? He has. He's left him the space. Let's just hope Temp Fear doesn't want the pit lane this lap, because Mornay's going to be blocking it off for him. And Temp Fear, yeah, if he can just keep the power down nicely on the exit there, he can. Great move from Temp Fear. Okay, great news. And
Simo's going to make a move. Simo's going to make a move on Mornay if he's got the straight line speed.
It doesn't look like he has. Maybe he doesn't want to do it yet. He doesn't want to have that heavy braking into turn 1 and risk putting the tyres through too much strain. Calculations going on in people's minds of when to pit, and if it was mediums, yeah, I think at this point, with the amount of laps left to go, the softs are just a bit touch and go. You know, you'd want really another 2 or 3 laps to pass by before you put the softs on, really, to be comfortable with them. But if you had to pit now, you've either got to take a gamble on them softs, or you go for a comfortable drive home on the mediums. I say comfortable, they're not actually a very nice tyre to drive on, to be fair.
Thing is though, with what, 17 laps to go, I'd be semi-tempted to go with a couple of super soft stints.
Quite possibly. Depends on...
I'm struggling to hear you, Milstar, just to let you know.
Yeah, more people heading into the pits, and we'll find out who they are shortly.
Schmitt's just got another set of inters on. I think that's a mistake.
Oh, I'm wondering if that's an error where he's forgot to tell the pit crew that he's coming in and he wants some dry tyres. Well, the first 5 cars, sorry, have gone past the pits, and they've not gone for a change of compound yet. Certek Karatapi retired from the session. I'm wondering if that is oops, I've gone for the dry tyres too soon. I might as well retire and get out of people's way. Unfortunate for him. Oh, I've just changed camera view by accident. I do apologise, because it looked like those two were getting rather close together. I think it was Mornay and Temp Fear. It is Mornay looking for an overtake on Temp Fear in towards turn 4. Is he going to go for it? No, and I don't blame him, because pressing the brake pedal with these tyres on the car at the moment, you want to know that the car's going to stop for the corner, and if you're trying to take a late lunge, you don't know if the car's going to stop for the corner. So Brake and Clays is pitted, he's come out with the medium compounds on. How's he looking?
I'll let you know. I'm just working out the timing on that is the gap between himself and GT5 King. I've got a feeling that it isn't the right time.
As in the track is just not working for the medium compound, or it's just still too much moisture there?
Brake and Clay's just lost 3 seconds to GT5 King in Sector 1, and GT5 King is on 20 lap old inters.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is, but he was ahead of Brake and Clay. He's now ninth.
We've got Temp Fear and Mornay side by side on the last corner. Aircut is retired. I've got a feeling that might be a terminal damage. And Mornay is alongside Tempfia, and he's slightly ahead. I think he's going to have this move done. Tempfia goes to tuck back in the slipstream. Can he pull back out again before the braking zone? I don't think he's going to be able to. But Simo now right behind Tempfia as well. What a great battle this is for third place. So with Braken Clays pitting early, it looks like that may not benefit him. And these guys are all going to probably jump him during the pit stops, which is rather unfortunate for himself there. But there's certain parts of this track where there's not too much spray coming up, but then when they go off the racing line, it almost looks as if they should be still on intermediate tyres. So I can understand why you'd be saying it doesn't look like the track's quite ready yet.
Well, here's info for you. Certek Karatape crashes out of the race. A-Cut crashes out of the race. Both of those guys were on the medium compound tyre. Alikamal, he's out of this race as well. I'm just going to have a quick check of what that might have been. Let's see. Well, it's not updated the information at the moment. I'll let you know.
Well, he was the driver.
Alikamal was out earlier on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure that he was a driver that... who was it that went back in for another set of intermediates? Because that might not be a bad call. Schmet. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how he's getting on. Hammer Time 95 left the session. I've not seen him say he's retired, so that might just be a disconnection from him.
He was out on lap 1, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Here's just a bit of info for you. Coming to get you, still on intermediates, hasn't pitted yet. He's got Bleeding Sunrise in 12th place, right ahead of him, and coming to get you's about to breeze past him. And I think Bleeding Sunrise is trying to give him the room, but on those slick tyres, he can't drive straight.
Yeah, I think that's going to answer it for anyone. But 22 laps now on these tyres. It's risky.
Tempfier's just pitted for another 7.
Okay, so it's come out on the intermediate tyres, and I said Schmet did that a few moments ago, and I've got a feeling that might be the right decision, even though in 2 laps time or 3 laps time you might need to pit again. It's better to do that than to have a puncture on the intermediate tyres. But every driver knows what their tyre life is. It comes up on their dash for them on their head-up display. And if you know that your tyres are at the end of their life and you've got to pit, you've got to put on the right tyres for the right conditions. And you've got to say at the moment, Tempfier's put the right tyres on for the right conditions.
Info for you, A-Cut, he pitted for medium compound tyres. He's already been passed by Mr. Hamilton 44, who's got a damaged front wing and 22 lap old intermediates. He's also now being caught by Overdyking, who is on... Overdyking's just pulled in about 2 seconds through the first corner, about to make a move on him, and yeah, A-Cut on the medium compound tyres got absolutely no response for him.
Isn't A-Cut not racing? Isn't A-Cut out?
That's what I thought. That's why I couldn't find him.
My apologies, it was Braken Clays that he made the move on. My apologies.
Are you sure it's Braken Clays not coming to get you?
That'll teach me right for taking the mickey out of, who was it the other day?
Yeah.
Lord JB, I think it was. My apologies. But yeah, I mean, you were right, Steve. What, it must have been 7-8 laps ago you said would it be worth the drivers stopping for another set of intermediate tyres? I think that would have been the way to go. I mean, Braken Clays, unfortunately, may have had to have stopped because of tyre wear, but he should, I think, have gone for another set of intermediate tyres.
Yeah, well, Schmet, who had just been on the screen, we've seen him actually go past, I think it was Bleeding Sunrise, who's struggling on those dry tyres. And Schmet was one of the guys that was the first driver to go from Inters onto Inters, and we wondered whether it was a mistake, but looking at it, I think it was the right call, as he's got blue flags letting the Williams go through there in a difficult corner, but it was the right thing for him to do. So yeah, I think
info for you. Simo has made a pit stop, and he's on the medium tyres. He's behind Tempfia, and Tempfia's pulling away from him.
He is.
The only upside is for someone like Simo in his position, if it is only a lap or 2 away from being dry conditions, he's in a good position to jump Tempfia. But he's not going to jump the likes of Mornay, Jamie James, and Jamie James is into the pits now. Coming to get you is carried on though.
Just information from you, Dan. Coming to get you, I've just been looking at his lap times. He's dropped off around the 31s to around the 33s in the last 2 or 3 laps, so maybe it is getting to dries now.
Okay. And
Interestingly, Jamie James has gone for the soft compound tyre, so he's gone for the quicker tyre. No point putting the mediums on for 11 laps if the softs can do potentially up to 15.
Come to get it, I've got a puncture. Sorry to interrupt. He's got a puncture.
oh, that's in sector 1, or just at the end of sector 1. It's a long way to go. Okay, it's one less lap he'll have to do on his next set of tyres, but that is a long way to go.
Jamie James, you might want to go on board because 10th Fear's overtaking him on a set of intermediate tyres. Yeah, Jamie James couldn't do anything about it. He's trying his hardest, but not a lot he could do. But again, if Jamie James can hold on for one more lap, I mean, it's possible that DRS has just been activated. That's why Jamie James has made the move. So the likes of 10th Fear's going to have another stop to make. But yeah, if Coming to Get You has just got a puncture, that's devastating for him because he's going to lose positions.
Mornay's just passed him.
So Mornay, is that Mornay up into P1? That's been a while since we've been able to say that. Oh, Jamie James though, on these slick tyres, still struggling through the second sector. Yeah, it's touch and go on what tyres to be on at this moment in time. It really is.
Okay, Coming to Get You is now into the pit lane.
Well, Jamie James, he's in sector 3. So he'll be jumping, Coming to Get You quite easily, I'd have thought here.
Well, if Jamie James is jumping him, 10th Fear's jumping him, but 10th Fear's on the intermediate tyres. It's softs for Coming to Get You.
10th Fear, I believe, is going to end up with another pit stop to do. He just needs to make up as much time as he can now, while those intermediates have got a bit of an advantage. Jamie James, though, completely sideways, nearly loses it as he runs wide over the curb out of the last corner. And we can see Coming to Get You rejoins ahead of Jamie James, I believe. Yep, he has. And Coming to Get You on the same tyres as Jamie James, and so that is the...
Sorry, Curly Whirly side by side with Simo heading down towards turn 1, and again it's intermediate tyre versus medium compound tyre.
And Curly Whirly on the intermediate makes it stick lovely there. And it's... Even though it looks so dry, the intermediate tyres are still the faster tyre, and not by a little bit at the moment. I mean, the amount you can see Curly Whirly pull away from Simo there, that sort of space is, you know, it's going to be at least a couple of seconds per lap. We've seen Mr. Hamilton set the fastest lap of the race. I've got a funny feeling he's probably been in the pit lane. You know, what tyres is Mr. Hamilton on?
Mr. Hamilton 44, I believe, is still on intermediate tyres. You may have seen there as well that Bleeding Sunrise is out of this race. That was a retirement, but yeah, he's now out of this race. GT5 King has just made a pit stop as well.
Okay. Mornay, sorry, yeah, Mornay just coming out of the pit lane, and he is still currently sat in P1 with 10th Fear coming down the pit straight, who's most likely got another pit stop to do. And Mornay's got the advantage there. It's coming out ahead of 10th Fear and keeps that position. So Mornay then just got to focus, keep the car on the road.
Oh no, Mornay's gone deep.
It just goes to show. Yeah, and I think that from Mornay's point of view, there's no point in fighting him. You just got to focus on getting those temperatures up in those tyres and try and get them to work. Try and keep on that slim, narrow racing line that there is, because as soon as you put half a wheel off, it's going to end up being more than half a wheel.
Jamie James is slow. He's being passed by Curly Whirly. I don't know if Jamie James has got a problem there, but he was slow into turn 1, slow through 2 and 3. Maybe he just got a little bit too much offline where it's still damp. But now Curly Whirly's gone deep, and that may give Jamie James an opportunity to try and fight back, because Curly Whirly's getting a little bit sideways.
Well, Curly Whirly on the intermediate tyres, and him and 10th Fear are the guys that went intermediate, and I'm wondering if Curly Whirly was one of the guys may have pitted a bit early, as he's now up behind Coming to Get You, who's the previous race leader, and Curly Whirly is going to have him here. It's just a matter of when, not if. And there we go, the move on the turn 11 is done, and that just goes to show how much more time advantage you're going to gain from being on the right tyres at the right time. Even though we're all sat here going, oh, it looks bone dry, it looks like it's time for the slick tyres. If you can't get them into their working window, temperature window, and get them to work, they're not going to work for you, and that is exactly what's happening at the moment. So we've got the Mercedes in a championship battle with the Red Bull, and it looks like the upper hand is with Mercedes at the moment, DP. How's the championship points between them before this race?
Not even looking. There's too much going on track at the moment. Tem Fear opened up a 5-second gap in one lap, staying on the intermediate tyre. But obviously, as we know, he has got another pit stop to make. Well, let's see. Simo, he's still going on his medium tyres. Mr. Hampton 44 is still going on his intermediate tyres. He's not going to try. He has made a pit stop because his front wing has been repaired, so he's gone inters. Maybe able to get to the end on that. GT5 King, he made a pit stop recently, went on to soft tyres. He's now in 8th place. Let's see, Braken Clays, he's still running on his mediums, and he's got Schmidt closing in on him. F1 Roadrunner is in a little bit of space, and I saw Rover Dyking make a pit stop just now. He's gone back onto the intermediate tyre, so having gone intermediates, I think it was, onto softs, he's now gone back to the intermediates, and he's about to make a move on F1 Roadrunner, who's on medium tyres and struggling like mad. And I think it started to rain again, guys. I could be wrong. It could just be spray on the window. I mean on the camera. But I'm seeing raindrops on my screen at the moment.
Okay, you might want to check for a water leak in the flat above. I'm just looking, and you mentioned about how Mornay had lost the time to Tem Fear, and it's exactly the same amount of time again this lap. And so 2 more laps time, Tem Fear is going to have that pit stop in hand, and with the amount of laps he's going to have left, he's going to come out in the super soft tyres.
Into the barrier, front wheel, right wheel gone. And just as I say that, Jamie James has gone into the pits to make another pit stop, I'm guessing for a set of intermediate tyres. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it is raining again.
Let's have a look on board. Yeah, I can see moisture. I'm on board with Mr. Hamilton, who is somehow found himself up in 5th position now. And there's moisture back on the screen of the car, and not much, but you can see why the circuit is not drying up. So Tem Fear then, currently in 1st position. Was it a wise decision going back on the inters, or did he have information that possible rain?
Just to let you know that Curly Wurly is really catching Mornay up in front of him.
I'm wondering now whether... Yeah, I'm just wondering if Mornay's going to have to consider changing those tyres back to the intermediates. He's seen what Tem Fear's done to him. He's going to see what Curly Wurly's going to have done to him. He's going to see the time coming down between him and Curly. And if you were Mornay, you wouldn't want to give up your 2nd position, but you want to finish the race, don't you? You've seen what's happened to coming to get you. You don't get any points unless you finish. So Curly Wurly then, I'm pretty sure I saw the DRS open. I'm pretty sure DRS is available, and that might be another reason why some guys were thinking it's time for the dry tyres.
He's going for it now. He's all over the back of him. It should be potentially an easy move, but Mornay is trying to fight it. All the inside Curly Wurly goes then. Yeah, Mornay doesn't fight it, realises he just has not got the grip. So that's Curly Wurly up into 2nd in his 1st World Championship race as a reserve driver. And what a situation we've got. Tem Fear, Curly Wurly, 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, and we don't want to commentate Kirsten too much. We've been trying all race. But I'm not going to say anything else, but at the moment that is looking great for the Mercedes team. And if your teammate or ex-teammate of Stocky had the chance of taking the Drivers' Championship but unfortunately couldn't, what you at least want to do is try and give the team the opportunity to take the championship.
I'm going to cut you off. You might want to jump on to Simo. He's on the medium compound tyre, and Mr. Hamilton is all over the back of him. He's nearly hitting him. He's so much quicker on the intermediate tyres through the corners. So through the S's, yeah, he's going to mug him on the exit of the corner. And Jamie James is in the background as well. So he sacrificed his strategy to put the inters back on. So Mr. Hampton 44 around the outside. Nothing Simo can do. That's Mr. Hampton 44 up into 4th place. And remember, folks, he was 2nd to last on the end of lap 1.
Yep. So Mr. Hamilton, to get onto the podium, what has he got to do? It's a big gap between him and Mornay. It's a 20-second gap, but Mornay is on the unfavoured slick tyres. 6 laps to go. That's a possibility, you know. That's a possibility.
Mornay needs to pit now before he loses time.
Yeah, I don't know whether he will. I've just got a feeling he's going to just cross all his fingers and toes and hope that this track gets dry enough for those tyres and it'll come back to him before Mr. Hamilton gets anywhere near him. But I think the damage has already been done, against Mornay, and he's already lost his first place, second place, and he would have been better off making a call a bit earlier on. I mean, just goes to show how difficult it must be for these drivers. We're here and we can see everything that's going on everywhere, and we're putting our thoughts and suggestions forward, and yet even we make the mistakes and say, well, we thought it was bone dry and should be drawn the slicks, and yeah, it's not easy.
To be unlapped or have Overdyking unlap himself down into turn 1. I don't think Tempfear will fight that at all. He doesn't have to, but Overdyking's going to need to make sure that he can pull away, otherwise he's going to start getting waved blue flags. But it does look like Overdyking has got Braken Clays just ahead of him, so Tempfear may just lift off a little bit and give Overdyking the opportunity to go and attack Braken Clays.
Yeah, it's quite surprising, isn't it, when you've got Tempfear there and the car ahead of him is Overdyking and he's chasing Braken Clays that's just ahead there. Braken Clays was battling.
Going to cut you off again. Jamie James is all over the back of Simo coming around the final corner, and Jamie James, I think, has definitely made the right call, switching back to those intermediate tyres as he's closing in on the back of that Toro Rosso on the slicks ahead of him. Yeah, it's going to be an easy move up the inside. It's damper there. The Inters will like it more there, and that's up to 5th place for Jamie James. I'll have a look at that gap though between Mornay and Mr. Hamilton 44.
Yeah, that's a gap that I can expect to come down quickly over the next few laps.
Overdyking and Braken Clays, and Tempfear is now getting involved. This is really complicating now.
If you're a Tempfear in this situation, I suppose you
just split them up.
Yeah, looking at it though, I was thinking that Tempfear probably would have been better off not getting involved, but Braken Clays being on those medium compound tyres, he was always going to end up being overtaken, wasn't he, there by Overdyking, and getting in the way a little bit by, with the blue flags in front of Tempfear. So with 6 laps left to go, Millstar, could you read through the order of who's in the lead, please? And
yes, I can. Just to let you know, Mr. Hamilton is really catching and Mornay just looking at the gaps there. So
okay.
The overall order is in first place at the moment we have Tempfear, second is Curly Whirly, third is Mornay 77, fourth is Mr. Hamilton 44, fifth is Jamie James, sixth is Simo 911, seventh is GT5 King, eighth is Schmet 85, ninth is Overdyking, 10th is Braken Clays, 11th is F1 Roadrunner, 12th is Durafin, 13th, and yeah, I think that's it actually.
Yeah, everyone else is, the other drivers are non-finishers, so yeah, we don't want to worry about them. DP, any news for us?
Not really. Well, I'm starting to look through the order. Let's see, Overdyking's still well to get himself back up to 9th place, and Braken Clays. I mean, it's clear to say anyone that did gamble the slick tyre, it just simply hasn't paid off. I mean, whoever made that call in the Mercedes garage to keep with Inters deserves a pint after this one, that's for certain. Because I mean, Tempfear, I don't think he's actually. I think if he's won a race this season, it's only the one, and he's on course for doing it here. He's only got 3 laps to go. But I was just going to quickly say, we'll go through question of the day again in a moment, if you like.
Yes, please. Yeah, whenever you're ready to do that, that'd be great.
Okay, in that case then, for anyone watching who wants to have a quick guess at the answer of this one, we'll get the answers at the end of the podium interviews, and we'll get the podium drivers to have a go at the guessing this one as well. Mr. Hamilton 44 has won the FRR World Championship Drivers title today before this race with 279 points he's got up to now, but using the point scoring system from the first Grand Prix at this track, the Hermanos Rodriguez circuit in 1986, how many points do you think he would have? So he's got 279 now, but how many do you think he would have had back in 1986?
So what did I guess? 92?
Yep.
So that's a bit of a benchmark, I suppose, if anyone wants to throw a guess out there. So if you're guessing at 1,000 something, you're way off. unless it is that many. Just looking at Mr. Hamilton and Mornay, and I don't think he's going to do it. You know, with it, the gap's not coming down quick enough. I think the track is just starting to balance itself out now a bit more towards the dry compound tyres. There's more of a grey, light grey effect on the tarmac rather than a matte black. So I think the tarmac is just starting to dry up a little bit more, as it might be coming back to Mornay now, but it's going to be a little too late for him to think about catching up Curly Wurly, who's another 10 seconds further up the road ahead of him. But then again, DP, we've seen it in the past, haven't we, where the track gets so dry that the inters fall off, and that 10 seconds can be gone in a lap.
It can, yes. I mean, Mr. Hamilton 44 has been very consistent on his lap times, that's for certain. But Mornay has just put in his fastest 2 laps on the slick compound tyre. So I think you're right in that it is coming a little bit more towards the dry compound. It might help Mornay out a little bit more. But Mr. Hamilton 44 is not going to give up. He'll want to try and get onto the podium if he can. Let's see, there is 7 seconds between them. So it could still be doable for Mr. Hamilton 44, but at the same time, if the inters do go off, yeah, they're going to be game over. I think if Temp Fear's tyres go off, I think he'd be safe because his gap is big enough. He's 18 seconds ahead of his teammate Curly Wurly, and he is 26 seconds ahead of Mornay, so I think he would potentially be safe on that one at the moment.
Yeah, and I can't see Curly Wurly necessarily, you know, even if Temp Fear's tyres did go off, I can imagine Curly just keeping in that position behind him, unless there was that possibility that they were going to get caught by Mornay, because obviously with him being a reserve driver, he's scoring points for the team, not for himself, so it is points for the team, so it's more important in a way that you allow the teammate that's within the team to score the more maximum points, I suppose you should say, for his own drivers' championship fights. Which is in quite a bit of a tight battle at the moment for that, well, what will be 3rd place in the drivers' standings.
Interestingly, Schmidt has just made another pit stop, and he's gone and put on this super soft compound tyre for the last 2 laps.
Has anybody told him we don't give points for fastest lap of the race?
No.
Well, it's nice to be able to come and show what you've got, what capabilities you've got racing as a rookie, and it'd be nice at the end to see what sort of lap time he's been able to do, and it probably will be one of the quickest.
He's sliding about.
Is he not able to keep it on the road?
He's trying, but he's about to be lapped by fairly well.
Well, info for you, Mornay is able to keep the gap the same to Temp Fear at the moment, which would suggest that the tyres are very balanced right now, but Temp Fear is heading towards sector 3, and then he's going to be on to the final lap of the race. But I just want to quickly mention a couple more drivers' pre-race comments before we get to the end. Mornay 77, who's running in 3rd place at the moment, he was asked, who is your favourite Mexican of all time? And Mornay said, I'm not very confident about this race because of my lack of consistency around here. I hope to score good points and we'll be glad to finish in the top 6. As for my favourite Mexican, that's got to be Salma Hayek because of her beautiful eyes, is what he said. I don't think I believe him about the eyes there, but yeah, she is quite attractive.
Yeah, she does have nice eyes.
She does. Go on, Mostar.
Yeah, just looking at Mr. Hamilton, he can see Mornay now, obviously not for this little section here, but definitely closed up to him. The gap is around 4 or 5 seconds, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
They are going on to the last lap of the race, and the gap is there for us to see as Mornay starts to break down towards turn 1. Mr. Hamilton 29 seconds off the lead, Mornay 24.5 seconds off the lead. It's going to be a little too much too late for Mr. Hamilton, and Mornay's just going to be saved by the conditions, really. Just looking at Temp Fear, he's under pressure now from Braken Clays, who is on the drier tyres trying to unlap himself.
Actually, that's not quite right. Temp Fear's just got past him.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But it looks like he's still under pressure though by... if you're Temp Fear in this situation, what would you want to do? Just go, do you know what, I don't need to fight you, go away, and let them race off in front? Or do you stick behind them like this and get them to have loads of blue flags and disqualify them?
Ooh, Well, I'd lift off at this point, make him drive the extra lap, but Tempfear is going to take the victory.
He is. So the last corner of the race, and Tempfear goes towards the line, and don't want to wiggle it too much because you never know, you might lose it before the line, but takes a victory, and that is going to be a victory welcomed to that team and to Tempfear. And it will be interesting to hear his comments on the podium about Mr. Hamilton taking the Drivers' Championship. Curly Wurly coming across the line now to make it a Mercedes 1-2, and maximum points for the Mercedes team, extremely vital for the Constructors' Championship. So the next car across the line, the third place car was Mornay, then it was fourth place Mr. Hamilton, fifth Jamie James 16 as he crosses the line there, and Simo just scores the fastest lap of the race award, but no points awarded for that. GT5 King in 7th place, a bit of a quiet race from GT5 King really, but GT5 King's quite often said, I just want to get some points, and that looks like what he's going to be able to do today. While waiting for GT5 King to come across the line, DP, what were the drivers' comments from the Williams drivers?
Well, if it's all right with yourself, I'll do those in a few moments.
Yeah, sure.
I'll get screenshots of the results. But I mean, for GT5 King, I think he'll be sort of quietly pleased with a 7th place finish there, and Overdyking's going to be crossing the line shortly behind him. Yep. So yeah, a good result for GT5 King. But I think, I mean, we didn't get to see exactly what happened on the opening lap of the race there. Although I was informed that there was obviously a bit of contact between drivers that ended up with Overdyking into the. I think Overdyking may have gone into the barrier and then unfortunately made contact with Schmidt. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure we'll find out afterwards. Quite a few penalties given out by the game there, but in these conditions I'm not surprised by that one, especially with drivers being on slick tyres on a track where it turns out Inters was the one to be. Yeah,
so if there's any World Series drivers out there that are watching today's race, bear that in mind for tomorrow. The results, provisional rules: Tempfear first, Curly Wurly second, Mornay third, Mr. Hamilton fourth, Jamie James fifth, Simo sixth, GT5 King seventh, Overdyking eighth, Breaking Plays ninth, Schmidt 10th, F1 Roadrunner 11th, Duo Finn in 12th place.
Okay, and I'll now go through the rest of the drivers' pre-race comments, and we'll see if they're relevant to how their races went. Give my co-commentators a chance to get themselves a drink, and in a few moments we'll get the podium sitters in for a chat, and we'll also invite Mr. Hamilton 44 in, with him being crowned the FRR World Champion today. So GT5 King, you asked about. He was asked before the race, with this season nearing its end, have you had time to think about possible teammates for next season? He said, America's pace won't be expected again. Setup there was for qualifying and I hated it in the race. Taking a more race focused setup in Mexico, which I hope will score more points to beat Bartman by the end of the season. He says, I haven't done much thinking, but I wouldn't mind if Mornay wants to be my teammate again. He has been one of the best and a pleasure to race with this season. Good stuff from GT5 King today. He did manage to get into the points, score a decent points haul there as well. Let's see who else have we got. Surtek Kanatepe, unfortunately out of the race when he went to the medium compound tyre. He was asked, with your multiple languages that you speak and the respect you receive from admins and drivers, could FRR see you in a more official role in the future? To which Surtak said, hi Steve, actually I didn't have time to practice the circuit because the summer break has come and I came back to my family home for the next 2 months. I managed to arrange a wheel stand and a relatively stable hardware setup, and I'm going to try it firstly tonight. Hope to finish the race first, then hunt some points. This is a tyre demanding circuit, so most probably I'll bring a harder set of tyres, but it can be balanced too. We'll have to wait and see. About the other thing, the official role at FRR, I think it's too early for me to take such a responsibility. Besides, I am planning to dedicate myself to racing more next season with F1 2017. To be honest, my intention is to be at the front row of the grid with the champions, because I hope the game will be more simulation like, which I favour a lot due to my driving style. But as we talked about before, I would definitely like to take part at commentary in the WSR races. Last time I enjoyed it a lot. On to Break and Clays. he was asked, now that a couple of races have passed, how is the relationship between you and your new teammate? Breaking Clay said he's probably going to go for the balanced tyres at this circuit because the super soft and the soft tyres are very useful. The mediums are good as well, but I wouldn't use it in the race just in case, although he did use the mediums in the race today. Also for the championship, I don't think it's just my teammate. There are some drivers that are really struggling and a good chance for me to close up on them. Simo, man of many words, he was asked, will we see you having fun today, or is it more likely that we'll see you eating tacos? And he simply said, I've just ate them. So that's pretty much everybody's pre-race comments from today. So we'll invite in the podium sitters and the new Front Row Racing World Champion in the form of Mr. Hamilton 44. But I just want to give a quick shout out as well, though, to coming to get you in a race where he was looking comfortable, potentially on for the win, until disaster struck twice in a matter of laps, and ended up with him not even getting to the finish line.
Yeah, and Milstar, well, I'm struggling to say certain things here. I mean, what are your thoughts on coming to get you's race, and how unfortunate it twisted for him towards the end?
It was really, I think he was quite unlucky with the puncture, and then I'm not sure what happened with his retirement. He's going to be disappointed because he's looked really strong this season. I think this was his best chance to just show how good he is. Yeah, he's been quite unlucky today, I think.
Yeah, we've seen him when he was in the World Championship reserves before he got his full-time seat in the World Championship, taking victory after victory. And in the World Championship, it's just a matter of time. He's been on the podium a few times, but his victory is going to be there for him. It's just a matter of when, not if. It may not be this season, but I'm pretty sure next season he'll be fighting for the championship. Do we have all the drivers that have been invited up onto the podium with us now?
Not yet, we're just waiting for Mornay.
Oh, we're waiting for Mornay, are we? He probably won't be expecting an invite.
He's having a party.
Yeah, he's having a party. He's broke the champagne out already. He's gone looking for his favourite Mexican. That's what he's gone to do. I'll tell you what then, while we're waiting for Mornay, I was going to say, 10th year, congratulations on the victory today, but we're going to come to you in a moment because I want to have a quick word with Mr. Hamilton that's been invited up onto the podium. Mr. Hamilton, congratulations on being the new World Championship champion. How does it feel to be crowned the championship champion today?
Feels quite good, doesn't it? Well, obviously it wasn't the way I planned to take the title with Stack not being here, but that's the way it is, and I think I've proved myself a worthy champion this year.
Yeah, definitely have. What I want to do though is, because we're lucky to have Temp Fear here with us, who is the last season's world champion. Temp, do you have anything you want to say to Mads, or any advice or anything you would like to say to him?
Don't get company. As you can see from what happened to me this season, like obviously, like I said, I won it last season. I'll come in this season, arguably as a favourite and whatnot, and you can see how my season's gone, and some of it's down to my own errors, some of it isn't. So, like I come into this season thinking I'm gonna do a double, but it's not as easy as that. So just think you could have my season next season. So
yeah,
I don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll say something to you that I said to Temp Fear, right? And he didn't quite believe me at the time. And what I said to Temp Fear at the end of last season was, "You can now have this target that goes on the champion's back."
Then you run about.
And it turns out it ends up being quite a big one. So, but congratulations, well done. You've had a fantastic season. But I think there's going to be a few guys coming after you. It's going to feel a little bit like Game of Thrones. I think there's a target on your back, and they've all got bows and arrows and swords and everything to take you down. Well, good luck.
Yeah. Also, Mads, I'm not sure if you're aware of something that happens in Front Row Racing, but it is up to the champion to opt to do it if they wish, and that is something that's known as the Championship Challenge, the Champions Challenge, I should say. Normally it's the last race of the season, but if things get tied up beforehand in the constructors, would you take the champions challenge of starting at the back of the grid for the remaining races if the constructors gets tied up?
Actually, I was considering doing it today, but as it turned out, I almost ended up doing it anyway because of my first lap. I was down to 16th or something. But yeah, I think maybe I'll try and do it in one of the 2 races. But I also have the constructors championship to take care of, and you know the Mercedes finished 1-2 today, so I don't think we're leading that championship anymore.
Now, you may not be able to take the champions. So the champions might not be able to take the constructors and the drivers this season, but I'm pretty sure you'll still be able to give it a good go, because you and your teammate have still got a good chance of scoring some good points this season. But on that, I just want to hand over to Millstar. Have you got anything you would like to say to Mr. Hamilton?
Not really. Just the fact that, do you think that if Stocky did race, do you think he would have still probably wrapped up the title, regardless?
Yeah, I think so.
Think...
And during the season, I've made some silly mistakes by not recording the races and stuff like that. I think I've lost maybe 70 points. So I think it could have been decided a bit earlier this season, and it's my own fault that it has taken so long to get the title.
Okay.
Well done, congratulations, and while you're still with us, please stay with us for a little bit longer, because we would still like to come to you for question of the day. But also, if there's any viewers watching and you want to put any comments towards Mr. Hamilton, then put out FRR and then your question for him, and we'll get that asked to him in a moment. So yeah, Mads, congratulations on taking the Drivers' Championship, and we'll come back to you in a moment. But back to today, 10th year, how does it feel to be back up on that top step?
I'm used to it, mate. No, it's nice. It was a bit of a surprise, but also wasn't. I mean, qualifying, 6th, and then getting second by turn 1, I was like, I got a chance to get in here. So it's on the cards, and I did win here last year, so I had a little bit of form to go by.
Yeah, we saw though that during that opening stint, you kind of dropped back into the field a little bit and started to struggle, but it wasn't until you came back out the pits on another set of inters that the race came back to you. Now, that decision on going back onto the inters, was that your decision, your teammate, was it an engineer's? What was it that made you decide, yeah, let's go for another set of inters, whereas most other drivers were struggling on the slick tyres?
Well, that first stint was horrible. I mean, I've literally only done laps around this track of 5 kilograms of fuel, so like putting race fuel in is a bit of a learning curve for me. And my pace was really sporadic. Like, some laps were good, some laps were bad. And then once I started getting like caught up by the guys behind, a few mistakes crept in, and it's a bit like that. But Curly pitted about lap 18, I think it was. So, and he put inters on again because he was a bit harder on his tyres than what I was at the time. And he was like, "Oh yeah, stay out on inters." Or I think someone pitted on slicks before, and he was like, he went straight past them. And I did hit the wall at one point, got a little bit of damage. So the lap after I did that, I pitted, but I did get a call from the engineer as well saying, like, put another set of inters on because I was well past like the scheduled pit stop. And the weather conditions had been the same for like 10 laps at least. Not raining, but it hadn't dried up. So I was like, I should put another set of inters on because I'm going to get a puncture soon, otherwise it's definitely not slicks. And well, yeah, everyone else decided slicks was the option.
Yeah, when looking at the weather forecast before the race, it said that just the first portion of the race should be wet.
Yeah.
I think everybody was expecting the circuit to dry up. Did you have any more weather reports during the race that the conditions were not going to improve?
Well, I think it was about lap 2 or 3 I did ask the engineer for a weather report, and he was like, 15 minutes till the rain stops. And then rain stopped, and I think it was probably like around halfway through, and I was like, right, I'll ask about the weather and I'll ask about my tyres. And he said, the weather's going to remain dry for the remainder, and my tyres still no reason to change over. And I was just like, okay. It's a bit like China early on in the season where it stopped raining, but it didn't dry up. So it was a case of just keep going along on your inters.
Yeah, well, it was a wise decision, and it's what I was able to make Mercedes take the 1-2. Does that now give you the upper hand then in the Constructors' Championship?
I mean, I guess so. I can't remember what the points gap was. If any of you can remember it.
26.
26.
It was 26,
so,
and you've just scored 43.
yeah, so if the result stands as it was, we're like 5 ahead now. So
Yeah, so it's going to be
we're in
very
the driving seat as it would be.
Yeah, it's going to be very tight then towards the end of the season between you and the Mercedes. One last question for myself before I
We
pass
are the
on.
Mercedes.
It's going to be really tight between him and the Mercedes. His rear end is inside it.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you one more question before I pass over to Millstar. And that is, what are your thoughts on the reserve driver that jumped into Stocky's seat today?
He's crap. I'm joking. I mean, yeah, he finished like 18 behind me, but I mean, he hasn't done. He can drive no assist apart from the racing line, because I asked him earlier on, and he said he's like about a second off the pace or so. Which, I mean, he was putting himself down, saying he's gonna be like back to the top 10. But like you say, this season it's not just about raw pace anymore. It's consistency and strategy calls, and as you can see, he's probably done the perfect strategy almost. I think he pitted on lap 18, still half and half. And look where it's got him, it's... Like I say, it just proves the paces and everything.
So has he got potential to be in that seat for the next race?
I don't know, we'll see who else is there. I'm not too sure who the other reserves are that'll be available, but he's, he could, if there's a bit more practice, we'll have to watch out, because he's, he might end up being more likely to beat me next time.
Yeah, probably. Alright, Millstar, over to you then. Questions for Temp.
No, I have no questions. That pretty much
Yeah, you
covered
took him
it.
all, Steve.
Yeah, I thought I did. Dave, anything for Temp? No. Okay, moving on.
Oh, he's always got something for me.
No, I was just going to say congratulations, well done. Drove that
Oh,
race.
he's saying that with a pen in his mouth. He's gritting his teeth together.
Oh, of course, because I know I'm going to hear it tomorrow. I will buy it. 2 seconds. Just want to say congratulations to yourself and to Curly Whirly. Great drives there. Okay, I have got one question.
There you go.
It's been chatted about a little bit on the YouTube chat. A couple of the drivers not happy with the fact that it stopped raining quite early on, but the track was just suited for Inter so much better, and some people thinking that it's a problem with the game. But I mentioned early on in the broadcast that I remember racing around here last season in the World Championship, and it was pretty much exactly the same. You'd think, okay, I can go for the slick tyres, but it turned out it was the wrong decision. Was that in your mind at any point with the conditions that were on the track, and would you say that the way the conditions went was just a feature of Mexico, or do you think it might be a problem with the game?
I'd say, I mean, if we was to take this like really in depth, Mexico's, it's at high altitude, so whether that has effect could have a difference. But Mexico's a low grip track anyway, so in terms of that as well, it's a bit of a struggle. And I can understand what people are saying about the game. It did seem a bit unrealistic, but we've probably seen it in real life on races anyway. We've seen it earlier in the season at China. I mean, I got caught out in that. I put slicks on. I ended up finishing a lap down or 2 laps down. And yeah, with last season, it was similar, not to the same extent as the length that it was wet, but like you said, it was a long time before it dried out. So it probably is a feature of Mexico as well.
Okay, good stuff. Well done. We'll move over to the number 1 Mercedes driver, Curly Whirly. Steve, you got any questions for him?
No, I'm going to hand this straight to Millstar because I don't take all his questions. Millstar, I'll let you go first with Curly Whirly.
I have no questions because I was going to say to Temp to you as well about the who made the strategy call and everything. So yeah,
yeah,
it was a bit of both. So it was Curly kind of like got a first-hand view of like people that put slicks on me a bit further behind, and then he pitted earlier than me. So like I say, sometimes it's helpful to have a bit harder on your
shut up, you've had your turn.
No.
Curly, give us your point of view then on the strategy call.
So actually, I kind of learned from a league race in another league at Austria where it stopped raining in that race on like lap 10, and it took until about lap 27 for it to finally be slicks. And I realized fairly sort of, coming towards the middle of the race, just as it stopped raining, that with the conditions, I mean, it was still really overcast. It wasn't forecast to sort of brighten up. That it was probably going to take a while, and I had been sort of debating the idea of pitting for a little while, just sort of remembering back to that race from Austria and thinking, this isn't gonna dry up. So yeah, I mean, my tires at that point were about 75%, so I had to make the decision, and I sort of went for the gamble, went for the inters, and it was one of the front runners had pit the lap before, and they'd gone on to slicks, and I came out the pits and I was behind them, and then just drove clean past them like they weren't even there. And it was at that point where I was like, right, this is like, go. Like I said to Temp, like, look, this is obviously in there. It's like, make sure you put them on. But yeah, I mean, I was expecting it to sort of dry up a little bit towards the end, but it just didn't. It was only like 2 laps at the very end where I think it was kind of slick conditions. So well, yeah, it was just fortunate that I had that sort of other race beforehand.
Yeah, we'll find out from Mornay in a moment how he found it with his slick tyres towards the end, but it did look like to us that even the last couple of laps it was still more probably favoured towards the Inters. Right, I just want to cover though your qualifying and the start of the race. So qualifying, was that according to plan? Were you happy with what you did in qualifying?
My first couple laps were pretty terrible, but my final lap was quite good. I wasn't expecting to get into the 17s, and I just did it, so that was great. So yeah, I started 7th, which was it was a surprise. I don't think I was expecting to start that high up. And then the start of the race, I got a really good launch off the line and gained a couple positions going towards turn 1. But I mean, turn 1 was just chaos. There's people everywhere. I think A-Cut went straight on. Hamilton was like backwards. It was just chaos there.
You managed to get through quite cleanly though, yeah?
Yeah, and then the sort of whole first stint, I've got to say that's perhaps one of the worst drives for a P2 in the history of motorsport, because I drove dreadfully for the first half of the race. I mean, there was a point where Simo got past me and he just dropped me like a stone at about 2.5 seconds a lap. So I'm not that happy with my driving, but you're just lucky that everyone else messed up the strategy. So yeah, that's pretty much what made the race.
Yeah,
well, I wouldn't feel bad about Simo dropping you by a couple of seconds a lap. He's done it to a few people this season, that's for sure. I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the start of the race because of wonderful Codemasters. But I mean, you say that it was sort of carnage down at Turn 1. I mean, do you think it was just the conditions, the nature of Turn 1 here in Mexico? Or do you think perhaps drivers just pushing it a little too aggressive?
I think it's the conditions and the way that sort of the first couple corners work. I mean, it's such a long straight, and like the problem is the slipstream is so strong that if you're on the front row, you're just going to get mugged by everyone behind you. So people are always going about 4 wide into that first corner. And I mean, I got myself sort of right on the outside, and then just tried to hold it there. But I mean, I don't really know too much of what happened on my right, but I saw that like A-Cut went straight on and Hamilton was backwards. So it was at the point where I was sort of almost off the track, and then I kind of skipped turn 2 because there was no way I was getting to it because there was just a wall of cars. So yeah, I think it's just the way that the slipstream works, and then turn 1 is quite wide, but turn 2 isn't. So the whole track just kind of pinches there, and cars will just come into each other.
Okay, I wanted Dave. Hang on. I just want to remind Curly of a rule that he may not be aware of. That because you've done a reserve drive today, it means you can't do one tomorrow.
No,
Steve, you horrible man.
GP, how many points are Renault behind McLaren? How many do you think it will be after tomorrow?
Go on, Steve. Go on.
Renault is one of those teams that could actually still catch up my team, so we'll watch out for it.
Yeah, I'll make sure I
We'll
say
catch
that when
up.
I'm reading on the standings tomorrow, mate. Like, yeah, McLaren are falling like a stone currently in the constructor standings.
Yeah.
Okay, well done anyway to the Mercedes guys. I reckon we move over to Mornay, and I'd like to fire a quick question into Mornay. First of all, well done for taking the third place. But my question, I'm going to get straight to the point. Do you think if you'd put Inters on, you'd have won the race?
Yes.
No.
Definitely. Yes, then.
Yeah.
I would have definitely.
In that case, I'm going to follow it up with a question. How much did your heart sink when you came out of the pits and Temp pulled out 5 seconds in one lap on you?
It was horrible feeling. I know when I came out of the pits and I realized I was P1 still. I think I actually yelled over the live stream that I was leading the race. But yeah, I think in sector 2 I lost 7 seconds for the car behind. That was devastating.
Well, I feel for you, mate. I really do.
Yeah.
But still, well done. I mean, you said in your pre-race comments, sort of top 6, you'd be happy. So as frustrated as you are, you're on a podium. So well done for that one. I'm going to hand over to my co-commentators. Guys, fire away. Remember though, he's feeling a little bit sore at the moment. So be kind to him.
Milstar, I'll give you the opportunity to ask Mornay a question before I pinch any more questions off you. Do you have anything for Mornay?
Yeah, just one question. Do you think that you were saved by the finish line essentially when you saw Mr. Hamilton catching you at that rate?
To be honest, actually, the last 2 laps, I was gaining on the car ahead. Mr. Hamilton was still, I think, same speed as me on the last couple of laps. So, if the race had been like 5 laps more, I would have taken P2 also. It was drying up the last couple of laps.
Did it cross your mind at any point to pit again and put the Inters on?
Yeah, it crossed my mind several times, but there was this tiny little people inside of my head who tells me to stay out.
That's just
It would become better, but yeah.
That's called being stubborn.
Exactly.
Yeah, but going from a position where you could possibly have won the race when you probably weren't expecting to be somewhere like P6 to then finishing in, P3, do you feel devastated or do you feel elated that you're actually on the podium? How do you feel after a race like that?
Right now, as I sit here, it's good. I couldn't, yeah. If I was lucky, I've done as Temp to take Inters on again, but yeah, I'm happy with P3. So.
I want to know if it was the little people in your head that told you to put slicks on, and that's why you were telling them to shut up when they said goodbye. I can put Inters on.
Yeah, yes, it was the tiny little people in my head. Yes.
Yeah, don't listen to that.
But he's banned now. He's banned. No, it was actually also my engineer who said strategy change and put on soft tires. And the very same lap I came out, he told me to get back on Inters. So I told him to shut up now. Yeah.
Oops. Okay, I think if we're done for questions for Mornay, should we do question of the day?
Yes, we can. We can do question of the day. Yes. Okay. We all know you might have heard about the burrito last week. Don't worry, it's nothing like that. Okay, so as we now know, Mr. Hamilton 44 did win the Front Row Racing World Championship Drivers' Championship today before the race was even run. But before this race, Mr. Hamilton 44 he's won the title with 279 points before this race. However, using the point scoring system from the first Grand Prix held at that circuit, the Hermanos Rodriguez circuit in 1986, how many points do you think he would have had before today's race? So, Temp Fear, fire away.
You're a mug. Ooh. 100 and what was he on? Was he on 279? 128.
128. Okay. Curly Whirly.
127.
127. That's
I'm too
sneaky. Okay, Mornay, what about yourself?
125, I think.
Oh, you're almost.
I like that. Curly Whirly gets it under the bar. I like that. Okay.
I'm going back down to 100.
Tough. Okay, on to the newly crowned FRR World Champion, Mr. Hamilton 44. How many points do you think you would have had?
This is unfair. He's the actual person involved in the question. Bias.
Doesn't matter.
I'll try something different, and I'll say I would have had the same number of points.
Interesting. Okay, if anyone on YouTube wants to get their final guesses in, feel free to do that now. We have just had a question come in saying, are you doing this on F1 2017? No, we've just finished a race on F1 2016. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it from the start. It was a fantastic one. Quickly mention as well, Case Lay has said to Mads, congratulations Mads, pleasure to race against you earlier in this season, well deserved. And yeah, so good stuff. Just to let you know, there have been a few guesses. GP said 92, Milstar said 82, and then a few of the guesses we've had is 114, 80, 87, 87, 128, 127, 125. We know those three were. 279 was what Mads guessed at. However, I can tell you somebody was only one away.
Ooh.
It was 83, wasn't it?
No.
93.
93.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
93.
Oh,
and I didn't even tell GP what it was beforehand. I can promise you that. I didn't tell him.
Not believing yet.
Milstar was here when I said, do you want to know what question of the day is? And he said no. I was like, okay, fair enough. But just to let you know as well, before today's race, Mr. Hamilton 44's season has gone like this: 7 wins, 3 seconds, 2 thirds, 1 fourth, 1 sixth, and he's had a couple of DSQs and 1 DNF. The DSQs, I think, as well, were at races where he won. So it would have been 9 victories over the course of this season. So it's been a fantastic drive. But I can't emphasise just how much what Tempfear said can quite easily come true. Enjoy it while you can, because next season it could all go the opposite direction. But yeah, very, very well done. Okay, Steve, over to yourself.
Yeah, congratulations again to Mads for taking the Drivers' Championship. This was round 19 in Mexico. Congratulations to Tempfear on the top step of the podium, with Curly Whirly second and Mornay third. Next event from the racing will be tomorrow for the World Series Mexico. That's where myself will be taking part. And Milstar, are you available tomorrow?
No.
No?
Last race of our month, I'll be back after that.
That's right, yeah. Okay, so Milstar not in that one tomorrow. But yeah, if you'd like to watch that, same time tomorrow, about 7 UK time, and DP will be on commentary there, along with Tempfear, and it should be a Razor 21 if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yep, you are correct.
We got him back tomorrow. Oh, we do have him back.
Can I have a guess at... Oh, just while I remember, can I have a guess at tomorrow's question of the day before I even ask the question?
Nope.
Oh.
We'll save that.
He obviously knows that one then.
We'll save that for tomorrow.
All right, anyway, yeah, so wrapping it up. DP, any final comments?
No, other than just quickly mention that if you do want to get involved in Front Row Racing, come and check out the Front Row Racing Facebook page, and also for the current drivers, check out the post that's pinned to the page at the moment regarding admins positions. Obviously it's still open for applications, so if you're interested in getting involved as an FRR admin or as one of the volunteer roles, check out the post and come and get in touch with us.
Yep, okay, and thank you very much from everyone that took part and helped out today, and we'll see you all again tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Bye.